Hi and welcome back. Today I'm creating a collage page in my messy junk art journal. I want to use this color palette and I am going through my stash of collage papers to find these colors and then I can start my page. I already have one here with the reddish and the turquoise tone, and it's kind of a Payne's gray, a bit more bluish. These are all underpapers where I clean my brushes, where I use leftover paint on, and also clean my stamps. I think these brown tones are really great. And here I want to use the yellow. And maybe I will also use this because I really like the neutrals and also the stamp impressions. I just tear out some elements and then I will arrange them on my page and just stick them down with a glue stick. The book I'm working on is a handmade junk journal. I just used all the kinds of papers I had laying around. I'm using the glue stick for this collage because it's just a quick creative play and it's not a piece of any kind of finished art, so it's really okay, I think, to use a glue stick. And I also like when some of the edges of the paper stand up. That looks even more messy. I also think a glue stick works better in such a junk journal than gel medium. And also some of the papers have water-soluble colors on them, and if I go over them with gel they will bleed. The spread you just saw on the other page is also a video on my channel, and I will link this up in the end cards so you can check that out too. I hope you don't get bored because I need some time to decide which papers I want to use and which motifs of the papers I want to pick out. I really want to have these flowers on the page. I just couldn't decide which one of them. This paper I'm having here is a newsprint paper. I really like this for the junk journals because it looks very messy and it's a super thin quality, and I think it matches the style very well. I usually cover these newsprint papers with a thin layer of gesso before I use them as my underpaper, so they can stand a little bit more of water and color, but they give perfect collage papers, and they are also very useful for junk journals. I often get questions about the glue stick I'm using. It's a Tombow glue stick, and I think it's not available outside Europe, but you can maybe Google it. It's my favorite glue stick. It is a very hard quality and it doesn't give you much glue on your paper, but it holds very strong and you don't get this mess under your paper with this glue stick. I have some papers here that have a lot of acrylics on them, which gave them a lot of texture, and I also really like this for these chunky pages. Whenever I'm not sure where to place an element and which position looks better, I just have a view through my camera onto the page, and it makes such a big difference. So this is a tip I can give you if you're playing in your journal or on another layout and you are not sure where something is looking good. Just make a photo of it or just look through your camera onto your piece. It will give you a really nice idea what looks better and what doesn't. Something else that also helps is looking through a mirror at it, but that's sometimes a bit difficult because you have loose sheets of paper and that might be not so easy. I'm going in with some black gesso now. I want to have some really high contrast on the page, and with grungy pages I really like to use black color. I just add a piece of paper underneath my page because I want to protect the other page. Of course, I could have also used black paint, but I don't have many black paints and I like to use the gesso. I think it has such a nice smooth feel to it, and it dries also very matte and not glossy. And for the contrast I also add some white gesso. I think I waited for the black one to dry, and it's something that dries really fast. And here I just add some heavy gesso with my scraper tool, which gives me a nice texture. I'm using a pastel pencil to make marks into the wet gesso. I really like this technique. It makes the page even more messy and also more personal, and it gives it some interesting texture. I will let this dry now, but before I do this I will add some black splatters because I already feel I need some splatters on this spread. When everything is dry, I'm going in with Neocolor crayons to add just the colors that I'm missing on the page, and this is the yellow. I'm blending it with a bit of water. And I just use all the colors from my color palette and add them here and there without no sense. I just play intuitively. As always, you will find a blog post linked up in the video description where you can have a look at the finished spread. Here I'm going in with my water-soluble pencils. I'm using the Derwent Ink 10s and make some scribbly lines. I'm dipping the nib of the pencil into water so I get these really dark marks. And here I'm adding some turquoise splatters with acrylic ink. I think the turquoise is also a bit less on the page, and turquoise is my favorite color, so I have to add some of it. I let this dry and then I came back to finish the page up, and I decided I will use some of my handmade stickers. I will link up this video also in the end cards. There you can have a look on how I made them with my jelly plate, and those are really good in color, so they are matching my theme, and that's the reason why I added some of them. I'm feeling there is not much to see on the page. There's much going on, but I need some kind of a focal image, and I decided I would just use some simple botanical elements, these leaves from my Craft Collection stamp set, together with a sentiment that I will add later. And of course, I don't have enough splatters on my page. I will add some white ones to bring in some highlights and to increase the contrast, especially on the black areas. I wanted to use this flower from one of my underpapers, and I thought I would cut it out and try to add it to the page, but I think it just doesn't match. So all I'm doing is adding my sentiment. I cut the words from the Mix a Sentiment stamp sets. Almost all of them. The word heart is from the journal words. And here is the page for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope we will see us next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.